There's no question about it. Donald Trump is my favorite authoritarian of all time. I mean, he just adds a bit of character into the mix. He adds a bit of humor, a lack of self-awareness that, despite being a wannabe strongman, he still makes us laugh. I mean, I don't know if you've seen his latest Thanksgiving address when he was sitting at a tiny Resolute desk, all the while all the while oh dear. All the while shouting at journalists and the press.
Don't talk to, I'm the president of the United States. Don't ever talk to the president that way.
And his lawyer is no different. Rudy Giuliani, we're doing a little press conference with hair dye rolling down his face. I mean, this is comedy that you just can't make up. It's priceless. It's something that Hollywood would kill for, really. And it's happening in front of us. Despite that, there's a bit of little bit of mischievousness behind that. Maybe more mischievousness is a bit of understatement. Trump is still dangerous, believe it or not. Even after undermining democracy by questioning the validity of the electoral vote, he just a week and a half ago, he was up 36 lawsuits trying to overturn the vote in battleground states. Of those 36, 24 were already dismissed by court judges. 9 were withdrawn by the Trump team, knowing that they had no chance, really. And the fight for overturning some of those votes in those battleground states, not in the whole entire election, not in the states that he's already won, because that's already convenient. Just the battleground states, which would allow him to pass through that 270 threshold to win the presidential election. Now, he knows that's a losing battle. So here's where it gets a bit dangerous now. He's goofy, he's a buffoon, he lacks self-awareness, but he's challenging, undermining democracy. And this is obvious proof that he's an authoritarian, because authoritarian is not beholden to the democratic wish of people. He knows he can't overturn the votes unless something really drastic is unearthed. But it's clear that from the onset, Trump did not respect the very nature of mail-in voting, because of the fact that Democrats are more likely to vote through that method, both historically, but also Democrats are more likely to be concerned about catching COVID on your way to the voting booth. But he's trying that method. It's not really succeeding. A second method and a third method he might try is trying to take over the defense policy, foreign policy. On the eve of Thanksgiving, he fired 11 foreign policy advisors in the Pentagon. Now, you wouldn't do this on the way out. of the presidency. If you know you're going to exit in January, you wouldn't be doing this unless he had a few blows with them in how to proceed with foreign policy. Perhaps he's staging a military coup. Perhaps he wants to start a little bit of war with another country. That's a possibility. But this is very unconventional, just as, undermining the democratic vote is unconventional. This is also unconventional. It's just desperate. Also adding to some of the humor, but also it is dangerous too. Just the very audacity, just a relentless drive and push to stay on in his little throne in the White House. And if he does manage to pull this off, oh my goodness, that would be the ground to a World War III. But I think that he'll be stopped on the way, but there is still a chance. Another thing I want to talk about is, you know people in your life, talented people in your family, your friends, who have talent, but they give up on in the first hurdle, or they feel like they're just not good enough to succeed and thrive. I think one thing we can learn from someone like Trump is that even when he loses, he feels like he's winning. And even though, that is knee deep in delusion, narcissism, maybe sociopathy. But there is a level, something we can be inspired by. There's slightly something motivational about that. Yeah, Trump, my favorite authoritarian. And perhaps he can inspire the progressives to push on with more fighting power. I mean, and not just progressive, but people who are talented, artists, writers, people who want to just, start a new project, but off the beaten track. And of course, Trump has had a foot up, having inherited millions from his father. But he's also, driven by his own, self-belief too. There is a degree of self-belief there, even though there is, it's been upgraded to, grandiose delusion. But there is something we can take there. It's just that the self-belief, self-faith, the not knowing can be transmuted to a kind of a self-belief, because that would allow you to push through every setback, push through it, because you never know really what's around the corner. And Trump managed somehow, through all the twists and turns of his life, to land himself the presidency. He may have cheated along the way, and I suggest we don't cheat, but there is something to be learned there. More on this in future videos. Hopefully in next week, Trump doesn't try and start a military coup.